Well, here we go. Kim Mulkey goes on offense versus the Washington Post. Not sure if you saw the press conference today. Doesn't usually start this way when the coaches come out for this one, but she gave an opening statement and basically went on the offensive against Washington Post reporter Kent Babb. Now, there have been rumors circulating that the Washington Post is about to release a report on her that interviews former players. And Mulkey says those are anonymous players, and it sounds like they're going to say not so nice things about Kim Mulkey. Again, she's gone on the offensive to dispute this and get it out there. Kim Mulkey's clever. She knows how to play the media, and this is her going out there essentially. In her opening statement, she basically says, hey, I was only given 48 hours to respond to questions by the Washington Post, which is ridiculous. Well, that's fair enough time. I mean, Washington Post knows that you'll get on the offensive and leak your positive stories as well. So they're just playing a game right now. And then she went out and said, this reporter, Kent Babb, has contacted my former coaches under the proviso that he's working with me on a story about me. And I've told this guy for the last 2 years, I won't do a piece with him because he did a hit piece on Brian Kelly. So therefore, he's been, he basically just painted this reporter in a bad light. I tried to click on the report that he did on Brian Kelly, but there's a paywall, and I wasn't going to pay the paywall for that. But essentially, it was sort of something like, is Baton Rouge, there's $100 million for the football coach, but I assume lecturers and students are going without because they're paying the football coach so much. So it was a story based on that bent of the business of college football and how slimy it is. I guess the question now is what players are coming out against Mulkey. That will be interesting to see. Is it Kateri Poole, and is that what the issue is? And has she gone to the Washington Post? That would be my immediate first question. The other one is nothing rankles Kim Mulkey more than when players go to the media and bash her. I did a video on Britney Griner. If you can stand the way I say sexuality, it's the video outlines what her issue with Britney Griner was. And it wasn't that she had some overwhelming disapproval of Britney Griner's lifestyle choices or anything like that. Kim Mulkey's issue with Britney Griner was that she went to ESPN reporter Katie Fagan and took shots at Kim Mulkey. And once that happens, you're dead to Kim Mulkey. Like, she does not handle or tolerate people going to the press and speaking bad about her. Now, Katie Fagan said that, I think she was on the Dan Levertard show, and said after she did the story that Kim Mulkey went to her bosses trying to get her fired. And then after that as well, it was done with Britney Griner. Like, Baylor came out with a statement. Britney Griner played at Baylor. She's a great player and we'll always respect her. And then after that, it was crickets essentially. When Nikki Collin signed on to Baylor, that was one of the things, was establishing the relationship with Britney Griner. They recently retired her jersey this year. Kim Mulkey previously said, we only retire jerseys of players that graduate, and was using that to prevent the retirement, or saying that was the Baylor policy. But you could tell that Baylor wanted to re-embrace their best player in women's college basketball history at their school and sort of celebrate her, and that's what they did. When Britney Griner was detained in Russia, Kim Mulkey initially on one of the podcasts was like, we're praying for her, and that's all I'm going to comment. I don't want to say anything to further escalate the situation. And that was her first immediate comment when she was on the Tiger Rag podcast, was perfect essentially. And then there was a press conference where she had no comment after that. And that's when a little bit of a firestorm started. But it wasn't anything major because she didn't say anything negative about Britney Griner. It was basically, I have no comment on this. And then I think eventually she said something, and it wasn't anything inflammatory. Then once Britney Griner got back, when they were at the NCAA Final Four, somebody asked, have you caught up with Britney Griner? And Kim Mulkey said, no, I haven't had a chance to catch up with her. I'm sure she's with her family and celebrating being home, which was the perfect comment. And she's not going to catch up with Britney Griner because they don't like each other. Like, again, once Griner went to Katie Fagan and did that story, basically saying that she felt that she was pressured at Baylor and by the Kim Mulkey and her coaching staff to keep her sexuality preferences quiet, she was done. Like Kim Mulkey was done with her. You don't go at me publicly. Kim Mulkey's happy to discipline players and welcome them back. The perfect candidate or example of that is Alexis Morris. So she dismissed Alexis Morris from Baylor, and then I think Alexis Morris, I can't remember. I think she went to Rutgers maybe, and then had another stop maybe Austin or Texas A&M before she came back to LSU and Kim Mulkey. And Kim Mulkey was happy to have her back, and it worked out well with, I think, Alexis Morris's grandmother saying, you need more Kim Mulkey in your life. She's the one that challenges you and makes you the best person you can have. So she is one of those polarizing people or coaches that players will, if they love her, they will defend her till they go down. The coach is tough on me, but she's doing it for my best good, and I respect her and love her, and she has a whole bunch of players in that camp. And then she has players in the other camp that I haven't seen many come out against her. So this would be interesting anonymous pieces. That's why I wonder if it's Kateri Poole or how much they have on her and what it is about, essentially, because it'll be interesting because she's had a long career, and I don't think she's had, like Queen Egbo came out against Kim Mulkey, but when she came out against Kim Mulkey, it was about her lack of support for Britney Griner. And that was some of the other players that came out against her, but it wasn't anything that she was abusive in practice or she's done this in practice or anything like that. So it'll be interesting to see what the article says. And will it be essentially painted as Kateri Poole, disgruntled player taking a hit shot at Kim Mulkey, and Poole will basically be dead like Britney Griner is to Kim Mulkey. Now that is to be determined. She's fired the first shot against the Washington Post. I dare you to release this piece. And as well, when you do, I've taken the sting out of it because I've already disputed it in public. I'm not going to respond to your questions saying no comment. No, I'll go to the media and say this is a bunch of hooey and you guys are sleazebags and nobody can trust you. And she's playing the media game, no doubt. She's a clever girl. Even when she says her stuff that she says, and you're like, wow, that's really questionable. There's always, logic to her madness, if you like. She's clever like a fox, I think, or whatever the cliche is. And that's what's going on here as well. I'm sure she doesn't mind that this takes the heat off what was not such an impressive game yesterday against Rice. The other thing that I found interesting, I watched the Jeff Walz press conference after they lost to Middle Tennessee. And what I found telling about that was how his players were coming out and defending him. Like Cochran was like, he takes a lot of S in the media and he's tough as nails in practice, but we know he's doing it for our own good and they support him. And I think she's like Walz and sort of Gino and those old school coaches that are hard on players, and some can take it and some can't. And if you can't take it, the good thing with NIL, if you don't like it, or not NIL, but the new transfer portal thing, if you don't like it, then go. I think years ago it was a bad deal where you have a choice. Either stay with somebody that you don't like, or you have to sit out a year and be sort of beholden to the coaches. I think it's good now. Not everybody's for everybody, their coaching style. So if you don't like it, get the heck out. You're not required to do it. I think Kateri Poole got a fair deal. She didn't like it there. She got a championship. She didn't like it. She had a choice of staying or going. She's going. She has another year of eligibility. So fine. No harm, no foul, in my opinion. Overall, Kim Mulkey has a long history of saying things that are controversial, but I think most would agree that she is a good coach. Like, she knows how to coach. She holds players accountable. She does what she does. I would find it surprising if she's crossed the line dramatically on this. I just think it's probably disgruntled players just coming in saying she does this that really bothers us. But again, with the transfer portal, if you don't like it, then go. And that's pretty much all I think. I think this will wind up being a storm in the teacup. And basically, Kim Mulkey's firing the first shot and playing a game of, I dare you, Washington Post. You publish this, but as well, I'm going to take some of the sting out of your story with going after you before you come after me. All right, thanks a lot for watching. Have a good night.